Yes, sir. Got water? Oh, okay. Oh, do you need another one? No, I'm good.
There we go. You saved me. I owe you. I owe you. That
Arlinda, do you have a clicker?
However, I am going to go through right back. So I
Right, it's time. Sorry. I know, I'm late. Starting late. All right. We're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order this evening. Thank you guys for all coming. And again, there's no one sitting in the front. What's up with that?
Yes, there is.
Jan, thank you, Jan. Thank you. Well, she just knows if we're not nice to her, she's going to write something in the paper about us. So she's safe in the front. Okay. All right. We have nothing to report from closed session. We did not have closed session. And so I am going to now pledge of allegiance. So we have the honor of having Shelley Burns come and do our pledge and then provide us with a little bit of entertainment. So on that note, inspiration, not entertainment, inspiration.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. It's so wonderful to have our own family up here singing that for us. So thank you so much. That was beautiful. Little did you know when you impromptu did that it would just open up a whole new career for you, right? So, so thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, so we'll move on to some recognition. So this evening we have a few presentations. First on our agenda is our DEI presentation from Danielle Nava, going to be introduced by Julian. Are you going to? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bob Flecka. It is my honor to introduce to you two fabulous people. We have Dr. Orlinda Soltera Ruiz, Director of Educational Services, and we have Danielle Nava Mijares, who is here to present on our efforts to cultivate diversity, equity, inclusion in the Fullerton School District.
Good evening, Madam President, Berryman, board members, Dr. Pleka, our executive cabinet, and our community members. I'm delighted to be here tonight. Thank you for having us. Anna, can you move our slide? Go back to the second slide. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks so much. So tonight Orlinda and I will provide you a overview, a collective overview of our diversity, equity, and inclusion outcomes, activities, and our accomplishment throughout the district. There are many, many hands who have woven this tapestry that we'll present to you tonight. This is a district-wide effort, and indeed it has been such. And we're excited that we'll be able to uplift that today. I also want to acknowledge our DEI task force, which is an interdepartmental district-wide collaboration of this work, our district-wide diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, and all the other hands that are part of this presentation tonight. Okay. So our executive cabinet and our trustees lead the way. This work started in December of 2019 or 2020? 2019, I think. It's been a long year, so it's all running together for me. But the board really kicked off this work and set the tone for more of the intentionality around incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion. This has always been paramount here in the district. In this way, we've been moving more intentionally around participating, seeing the framework, and also working within the framework. We did this throughout. We worked with cultivating a culturally responsive leadership lens at all levels. So from my presentations with the general managers all the way to our school sites and our individual principals, and then into our teachers. Working together, looking at the work that is already culturally responsive, lifting that up, strengthening it, and also becoming more familiar with the framework. The framework, which I'll bring forward in just a few slides, that is our guiding star. It really uplifts and speaks to the work that we've been committed to, but does it in a very intentional way that shows us this is our next step. This is our sort of path of process. We engaged in book readings, cultivating culturally responsive teaching and the brain. From our executive cabinet to our principals to our teachers, folks all had a hand in reading those processes and really talking about the strategies that were engaged. Our district office staff led a book club around the work so that we could debrief and talk about what those strategies are. And then our executive cabinet also read through the work of Tiffany Jana, which is Overcoming Bias. And that work, that conversation around the book culminated in creating a classified training around this work, around introducing bias, how it shows up in the work, how we might be more mindful of it, and also how we might curate ways in which to combat that in our practices. Our leaders continue to pave the way for us at the general manager level and our school sites. Our principals have been phenomenal. Here are some of the accomplishments and achievements that we've generated this year. Our RTI, our Response to Intervention Coaching Framework, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Framework made sure that there was alignment in that. A majority of our schools received by me an introductory on the DEI framework, and identification again of developing a common language around diversity, equity, and inclusion and education. We also presented the DEI framework to all the managers, classified, certificated staff, and administrators. We felt this was really critical because this is an all hands on deck. This work doesn't belong to a program, a department. We hold this work, all of us, and we all have a role in which to play. And then, of course, we provided culturally responsive teaching resources within our English and Language Arts curriculum. And you can see there, Study Seeing Wonders Readers and Writers Workshop. I also want to mention that this work, we are paving the way with all of our leadership to make sure that folks have enough tools to then be able to talk to to their own staff and cultivate the work in that way. And many of you have already seen this. It's much too small to read there, but here are our quadrants. This is in circle formation, so anywhere that our 20 sites and our district office and our departments could enter this framework at any place and be right on track. It's in circle formation because there is not a bad place to start. We're building on foundations that already exist. So you'll see here awareness and identity, diversity and knowledge, equity and inclusion, community and partnerships. At this point in time, we are engaging in all parts of the framework. The goal is to continue diving deeper into all of these areas through our practices, our trainings, strategy, and implementation. Again, this work is not a how-to, it's more of a guiding star. It centers the work. It helps us go back and say, where are the areas that we are very, very strong? Where are the areas that we need bridges to? And where are the areas that we need some more attention to? So you can see that we continue to build on what already exists. It also supports the growth of this work. This is journey work, it's process work. And so even if we feel like we've completed as we have right now, we're engaging in all levels of the framework. We're doing the next layer of work and the next layer of work. And I'll talk about that, what that looks like at the end of our presentation. So now I invite Dr. Dries.
Good evening. I can see our PowerPoint presentation there is a little bit off, but hopefully you'll be able to use your copy there so that you can see the verbiage that we have for you. So I'm going to briefly share how the Ed Services team embraced all of the components of the framework. And our DEI task force includes members from the social emotional learning team as well. And I'm going to share some of their outcomes in the next couple of slides. You will see that our work this year overlaps into all of the 4 components. An asterisk that you can see there illustrates how these areas are seen in all the different components of the framework. So the reason for presenting the framework in separate components is to ensure transparency and the cultivation of diversity, equity, and inclusion through all of the work that we do for our students. So a couple of the bullets that you have there will be repeated. So this is the first slide that will actually introduce the majority of them. So our block party community outreaches that we had actually demonstrated a celebration of students' talents. There was increased opportunities for students to share experiences through different activities such as portraits, social emotional learning, and diversity, equity, and inclusion embedded in art lessons. So everything was pretty much embedded, culturally responsive practices in the classrooms for our students in their lessons. And there was actually strategies through class meetings that address attitudes and skills that involve social emotional learning. We curated a staff website where teachers can actually go and see different resources for them to use throughout the school day, which included the lessons for students and also included our annual themes and recognitions that we had that included student voice. Our video library is also included in our website, and that includes diverse literature readings by staff and community members. And also, as Danielle mentioned, our book study club actually went into the school sites as well with teachers and principals. In the area of diversity and knowledge, some of the things that are new to this area were there was mirrored student experiences through our windows, mirrors, and newsletter that we had for our teachers, which gave teachers the opportunity to embed all these different strategies into their lessons. We built an understanding and connection through community personal journey talks, table talks that we had at all of our 20 school sites. Those were very interactive. We were able to touch base with community members, actually parents that were the go-getters from the different school sites, and we had the opportunity. I know one of our board members was actually able to attend the table talks that we had with one of our school sites. Increasing student empathy towards others by acknowledging
commonalities were embedded in the SEL lessons that teachers had for students. There was professional development, which fostered the whole child lens involving our social emotional learning. And then the other bullets have already been mentioned. So in the area of equity and inclusion, we offered student assemblies so that they can experience the storytelling through different perspectives of authentic performers and authors. Our students were able to, we were able to meet the diverse learning needs of our students through the second step curriculum. And we actually had a grant that we received of over $9,000, which allowed us to purchase culturally diverse books for all of our school sites so that the libraries can actually get started with this movement. And again, the asterisks overlapping all of the strategies that we did throughout the areas. In community and partnerships, we took a look at the DEI framework that was created and formulated common language around diversity, equity, and inclusion to share with the community in our table talks as well. We practice the use of diverse perspectives in our community groups, such as ELAC and PTA and our champions meetings. And we provided family communication regarding social emotional learning in 12 different languages from our SEL team. We created relationships with staff and students through professional development on social emotional learning. And then we, again, built our common understanding and connection through our community table talks, which we had there embedded as well. So all of these activities, again, providing that transparency in what we were doing in our work with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Danielle will continue.
Thank you. So as a response to our listening tours, one of the requests was to create a committee that was district-wide, that parents and community could participate in, and that's exactly what we did. We created a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee comprised of 5 subcommittees that you see here: parent education, diverse literacy, speaker series, district-wide best practices, and district-wide events and activities. So here you'll see some pictures. Right behind me is the lovely map that we use as an interactive tool at our block parties. If you are up close, you'll see all of the tiny flags. We invited families and students and even our community members and our law enforcement officers who attended our second meeting to come and put a flag where your family originated from or where you feel most connected to. And so you can see here the beautiful tapestry of flags that are here. One of the most beautiful things that we experienced was a student learning for the first time where her dad was born. She had no idea. And so her mom quickly laughed and we all sort of cracked up because of her response. And she said, "I think this is a really good dinner table conversation. We'll start having these conversations." That was one of many stories that happened at our site where we were just hearing the beauty of storytelling of our families. The outcomes are increased clarity and understanding of district-wide DEI initiatives. There was a deeper sense of community connection for the participants. So I did an informal evaluation at the end with our subcommittees, and these are the things that generated from that. Our block party world project map here, this was widely spoken about. This came out of our subcommittee district-wide events and activities. However, we did put our energy into inviting all of our community members to come and help to staff the table and or be around to have conversation. And then it was reported by our committee members that there's a deeper commitment and sense of purpose for this work. And they also see themselves reflected in this work and that they have a place at the table in this work. And I think that's a very beautiful experience to be able to say, we're championing the work that our leadership in our district and our school sites are doing, but we also have the responsibility and accountability to upholding this work as well. So our grows and glows, our subcommittees met monthly, and that was taxing on some of our families. We made it work. We did hybrid of in-person and over Zoom so that we could easily accommodate people's schedules. Our parents, teachers, classified staff, we had administrators and community members, and our district office staff all participating. We have approximately 70 members. The goal is to get us to 100. And that's with every school site having 5 to 6 members of their cohort. We participated in all 3 of our district-wide block parties. That was an opportunity for us to, one, talk about what the committee was, but also the work that we were engaging in. And also we wanted something to bring community together and make diversity, equity, and inclusion something less of what is that and more of like, oh, this is what we do. We community build. This is part of it. We are continuing to work to make sure that all the sites have representation and that we continue to uplift the work and make it of value of people's time and energy.
Are you going to continue to have more community table talks at each site this year?
Oh, I'll let Erlinda speak to that.
Is that a good lead in?
Yes. What we are planning on doing is making sure that our principals have the ability to conduct their table talks with the their stakeholders that they have in their school community, and we will be more than happy to support them if they need our guidance. But we ensured that all of our 20 principals were present at our community table talks. So we were acting as an example there so that we gave them that opportunity to reflect themselves and seeing how they can include those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, which leads us, when reflecting on the framework and the work we have been doing in diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's important that we talk about our outcomes. So I want to highlight a few of them here. So there's a total of 9. I wanted the 10, however, due to the space on the screen, I wanted to make sure that we had our opportunity there to speak about and highlight those that were very important to us to show that transparency in our work. So first, we have our FSD developed and integrated a framework that is now being used across the district. We included them in our table talk so parents were able to see the framework in their own language. We were provided translations for them, so we were able to use those during our table talks as well. We have our district-wide DEI task force that we have established across the different departments, as mentioned earlier. And then our consultant is leading the DEI subcommittees, and it has increased our family and parent community engagement. Again, our families experienced our table talks at all 20 schools, and we hope that their journey continues with those. Teachers have received professional development with specific training on culturally responsive instruction and leadership. Students accessed and experienced mainly different culturally responsive lessons, activities, and events. Additionally, our district re-examined and changed systems in our programs, such as our behavioral practices and gate identification criteria. So all of those have provided more inclusion and access. All of our school sites have expanded their culturally responsive libraries so that students can see themselves in the books that they are reading. And finally, our district and sites have adopted the junior high social studies curriculum with DEI integration. So we were able to see that as well and take a look at that when we were adopting our program. So when we do this work, it ensures that our students and families feel included and accepted and seen. So this is the work that we have accomplished and our outcomes for this past school year.
And finally, in conclusion, here is the forecast for our next academic year: Vision, Professional Development, Community Engagement, and Communication. Under Vision, we're currently developing a path of process for intended district-wide DEI outcomes, and that's, again, a collaboration across departments, across the district, including our sites. Also, we'll continue building our diversity, equity, and inclusion task force, which is the interdepartmental piece with our social emotional team collaboration. We'll also be focusing on an integration of student voice and presence more in year 2. For our PD, Summertime is happening really quick for us, and we'll have Dr. Victor Rios come and talk with us, and that will be our entree into asset building and asset framing, and include common language around that. We'll also continue our work in culturally responsive instruction in partnership with the Orange County Department of Ed, and of course our Department Ed Services. We will have more intentional pieces around culturally responsive instruction for our teachers, so more support. Erlinda mentioned all of the pieces that we already have moving forward. We'll continue to do a deeper dive on that, including the opportunities for diversifying instruction, our literature. We'll continue PD across the board for all of the departments at the district. And we also have something for the board coming up in the summertime around this work. For our community, we'll continue to build our subcommittee work and deepen that work with more secure footing now that they've had a year to sort of figure out what they wanted to work on, and also how they might contribute meaningfully. And for communication, we're working on an internal webpage that is will make the work more accessible to our community, to our families, to even our students, so that they can see in real time what the work is happening. Our goal is to make sure that we create transparency and accessibility to inform the community that this work is ongoing. And even though they might not see it in bright, shining lights, that this work definitely is committed to and it is being worked on. With that, we thank you so much for your commitment and your support around this work.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was going to say questions.
No, not so much a question, but thank you very much for helping to integrate these ideas into the district. And I know that for our staff and administrators who have so many things on their plate, this is like one more issue, one more training, one more meeting, but I value this a great deal. So I thank everybody for participating.
This shows a lot of hard work. And I know that many of the things you're asking for staff to do, they're already doing. And so while it's being put out there for transparency, it's also already being done. And secretaries of our school, much of it is being done. And it should have been done. It should always have been done. And in some cases, it always has been done. And so it's nice to quantitate it and make it a statement. I do have a question. You have listed under your 5 subcommittees speaker series. I don't remember a speaker series.
They continued this year to have conversations about what they wanted that to look like. And so they're working in collaboration with the Parent Ed Committee to bring something forward in this coming year.
Oh, great. Thank you. So we have a heads up with that. Now, my last thing is, a long time ago when I worked with school PTAs, we did something, and I don't know if it's still continuing, but when we put out our newsletter, in the top right corner, we had the names of people who volunteered to translate the newsletter into their native language. Like, I remember one was Egyptian. I didn't realize how many Egyptian people we had at that particular school at that time. And the beauty was, when the students translated, it wasn't necessarily totally accurate. It was translated with an emphasis either on get done with it quickly, or I'm going to put my own little version out here. And that's something that would be site-based or PTA-based for their newsletters. I just want to put that idea out there, because once we did that, we had so many parents that were thrilled to be able to have a resource to phone, to talk to, and a translation. So that was it. I commend, like Aruni, I commend you on your work. It's great. Oh, I do have one other thing. I'm so excited about this work, and I want teachers and parents and everyone, every bit of our staff, no matter what position they have, to find their heritage is important to them. See me. I love that expression from Helene. But I also want, and I could be wrong here, and willing to admit that. I believe that for a nation to be united, we have to have common core vision. And I don't want there to be an overabundance of individuality that we forget to teach our patriotism and the common cores of our country. And so I see a balance there, and I just don't want our educators to forget that piece, that important piece of education. At least I think it's important. I don't know. That was it.
Well, I will thank Education and Services for their report and all the work that they've done. I'm going to give special kudos to Danielle because she's really pulled the board into this and working with us and making it a real personal focus. And thank you. And we look forward to the retreat. Nice report. Thanks.
Thank you. I echo that. I know there's a lot of hard work that goes into this, and the committee of many individuals from different school sites putting their time and effort into this. You can tell that it's been a long process. I am happy to hear that we will be going on next year to do that. I had a couple of comments about understanding that the school sites will be doing their own table talks. I know that with new principals and new staff and having to learn everything else, that I would hope that your department would put together maybe some guiding questions, some type of template so that school staff have a starting point so that they're all on the same page and that we're making sure that the message is the same but different, but coming forward from us.
I'm pretty sure we'll be visiting the sites that have new principals.
Okay, all right.
So we can
Well,
model again.
Right. And I think having something somewhere where they can go back to it is great. I had a couple of questions. I know that we've got this subcommittees and they've been doing a lot of work, and I was just wondering what, and it may not be the right time to ask this, but when we talk about professional development on culturally responsive teaching or instruction, it seems like I understand it because we're around and we've done some research, but I think that for those people that listen from outside, it's when you talk about, social emotional learning, people look in and go, what does that mean? What does that look like? I think that can you, in, a short little snippet, talk about what a lesson, what an instruction would look like? What does a teacher, how does a teacher do that in a classroom? Anything you can just share with people?
Absolutely. So thank you for that question. It's amazing the work that is already being cultivated and the amazing work that our teachers are doing. Culturally responsive education is really being aware of who our students are and responding to them in a way that makes sense and incorporates what they bring to the table, all of their assets that they bring to the table. So instruction might look like we might add a component to it. Maybe we weren't doing a version of storytelling in this lesson plan, and we'll add that piece to it in terms of getting our student voice and practicing agency in that way. So it might be as simple as adding an element to a lesson. Also, perhaps our read alouds, our books might incorporate a variety of different voices in that space. So that's just a minutia of what it could look like.
Thank you. And then it was intriguing to see that when you were talking about re-examining the change systems, when we talk about what did we do? What's one thing we did to change a system that provided more inclusion for some of our students?
Yes. So our criteria for our students that are being identified for GATE, we listed a variety of criteria that was different from before. And we actually included an arts component this time around. So it was a portfolio creativity test, GATE, including the GATE characteristics. So we were able to differentiate that and add that criteria to our GATE identification process.
Okay. Thank you. Again, so many things here, as you're reading. I'm sure that as we ponder over this, thinking about this, I'm really excited about student voice. I'm excited that, as we go into this work a little bit more, I think it's very important that we include our students in this development, in what they think is important and what they see. So I'm glad to see that. Kudos on your monthly newsletter, the Windows and Mirrors. And who does that go to? Because I think I've only seen it once, but I know it's more than once. But who's on that listserv? Does that go to parents, just staff? Who does it go to?
It goes to the staff members that we have. So the principals receive it and it goes directly to the teachers so that they have all the resources available for them. But we can forward copies when we send them out.
I would definitely think
Perfect.
all of us would
Yes.
like that. I
We
saw
can do
the
that.
one and I was impressed. So I didn't know if it was monthly or what. So
Perfect.
yeah, that would be very good. Thank you. All right. Again, thank you guys for all of your time and your effort. And we look forward to the coming year and just building on this and making it bigger and better. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you. Dr. Pletka.
If I may, I'd like
Yes.
to switch one person.
Yes.
And I'd like to take a moment to thank Barry Ross for all the good work he's done with our district. I am going to have Colleen come up here in a minute and acknowledge the good work. I know Helene has worked with Barry very closely on a whole variety of programs, everything from health to social emotional. We've received so many grants from St. Jude's Hospital, and that was because of Barry's advocacy. This is something he's very passionate about, and we appreciate his expertise and all the things that he's done over the years. And so I just want to acknowledge you, Barry, and thank you publicly on behalf of the entire district. So thanks. And then Helene's got a few words as well.
Yeah, I was just going to figure Helene has a way of her words.
Well, to add to that, good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Pletka, and representatives who are here tonight from our executive cabinet, student, parent, staff, and Fullerton community. As Dr. Pletka said, the Fullerton School District is fortunate to have an amazing partnership with St. Jude Medical Center. And part of that partnership is due to Barry Ross. For 7 years, Barry has been extremely generous to our district, allocating funds from the Health System Community Partnership Fund to support behavioral, emotional, and social needs of our students at our Title I schools. The work of Barry Ross and these grant funds has not only extended beyond the original 3-year agreement, but has also increased in dollar amount granted each year. And this important grant has been able to support part-time staff to connect a minimum of 100 referred students and their families annually with outside counseling resources, along with the school-wide information system as a decision-making PBIS tool, and to track office discipline referrals. The Fullerton School District would like to thank Barry Ross for his dedication and support to our community and for the difference we are able to make for our students and our families. We wish Barry the best of luck in his new role as Executive Director of Justice Partnerships for the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange. Thank you again for all of your support, Barry. And if you would please stand and be recognized by our board, we have a gift for you as well.
While they're taking pictures, I want to point out 2 things. I had the honor of serving with Barry on his outreach committee at St. Jude for a long time. And it was Barry who first said, we need to make sure all students are covered with health benefits. And he worked very hard to promote that throughout this North Orange County area. It was Barry who said, we're going to want to do something called PBIS. And he brought it to us. I believe that's the way it worked. And we were one of the first school districts that he funded. And Barry, those 2 items, I guess you'd say, those 2 programs have made the difference in so many lives in our district, not only students, but our teachers, our administrators, having those resources, those tools, the healthcare for children is beyond anything one would have wanted to give them a safety net. So Barry, for those things and everything else, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And it's been an honor to work with you.
Yes, of course. But here's your microphone.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for this and just to be here with all of you one more time. You know, the partnership that St. Jude Medical Center has had with the school district has been really for over 20 years. And you've done so many things with us. When we were trying to open up a clinic in Richmond Park, the city said we had to have a parking lot. And the school district allowed us to use some of your land by Richmond School so that there could be a clinic next to a school. And thousands of people have been served because of that effort. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to open up the clinic. When we wanted to do a campaign called Move More, Eat Healthy, and it really was inspired by Jenny Meyer's husband, who was on our community health committee. He really charged us to do something more around childhood obesity. We came to the school district and you were willing to partner with us. And I will say, as a superintendent, you pretty much usually said yes. So thank you for that. We appreciate that. And through that effort, we've been able to really work on policy, system, and environmental change, including the school wellness policies, better school lunches, differences around physical activity in the schools, and it's really made a difference. We were seeing, prior to the pandemic, we were really seeing a reduction in childhood obesity, and that's not easy to do. And on that effort, I know we worked closely with Trang Lee, who was working on the wellness committee, so I want to thank you. And then with the mental health work, again, working with Helene, it's been great. We could brainstorm different strategies, and Helene was always open to them. So I know that St. Jude Medical Center is going to continue partnering with the district. That is important. We know that the district is a place where we can work together to really focus on the whole child and improve the health of the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry. I don't think you give yourself enough credit, really. I think that when you think of it, it's because Barry. And again, you look at him, you think he's quiet and he's passive, but there's a fire in you that is always looking out for the best interests of our community and our children. And for that, we appreciate you, and we will miss you. So thank you. Yeah.
Since we've begun with the flowers, we're going to continue here. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Shelley, obviously her beautiful voice. So we'll start with that. Thanks. I also want to take a moment, and I've had the pleasure to work with Shelley over the years. She is a teacher leader. She is somebody that has donated and volunteered year after year in terms of her service to Maple, her service to other teachers. And if you haven't seen her, she's also a fabulous kindergarten teacher as well. And so we just want to thank you, Shelley, for all the good work that you do, for your phenomenal work as a teacher and your teacher leadership and the service you provide. So and beautiful voice, of course, it goes without saying. All right, thank you.
You're on a roll. Keep going.
All right, where is she? Danielle Nava. All right, come on up. We just want to take a moment to acknowledge the good work that Danielle has led us through. It takes a certain courage and bravery, and we appreciate that she's come forward actually in some very challenging times, and through it, she has her true north that has helped us in this work help find our voice and to find our true north in this work. And so I think not only does she bring this expertise, and not only does she bring a passion for it, and not only does she have a belief for it, but she has the heart and courage to lead us. So thank you, Danielle. You want me to keep with you? I could.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to, at this point, also acknowledge Ed Services. We've acknowledged different departments over the years and the good work that they have done. I want to first of all thank them for the good work that they did around DEI, and I just think in terms of professional development, we have almost 2,000 employees. And while I'm sure there are some an employee or two that did not receive a professional development and training, every department did work in this area. Danielle, Nadia, Emily, Erlinda, all out there providing professional development to thousands of people. That itself is extraordinary. In addition, Ed Services, we were acknowledged by the state for the work that they did during, it's the Pivot Award from California for the innovative work that they did around teaching and learning during the pandemic. And so if you think of all the services, for example, even something as simple as the summer school programs that they put out, but let's throw in the fact that they had to redesign after school and the after school programs. Think of all the things like speech and debate. So all of the good work that continued during a pandemic and the innovative work from DEI to learning loss to all the great science and arts programs and technology programs that still moved forward during it. And so that goes a big shout out to Dr. Lee and her entire department who made this possible. And the award is really the good work that they did to lead this work. And then everybody here, every other employee, every other teacher, we'll throw out a business and accounting, the good work that Scott has done, and JD and Mike. And so all our classified folks and all our teachers and all our principals, but through the leadership of Ed Services. So I want to thank her and thank Dr. Lee and everybody here. Dr. Lee, there's no orchid for you. However, there is a certificate. This one's from the state.
Everybody.
All right.
Picture. Emily, come on. Get on here.
Thank you so much. This is a huge honor, not only for our team, but for our district. Those of you who know the California Distinguished School Award, the state this year, in lieu of that award, has given out an opportunity to apply for the Pivotal Award. So this is just a reflection to our district, of the above and beyond as our departments, all of our departments go through. I mean, we work collaboratively on a daily basis with the SEL team, with IIS, with, oh my goodness, JD, transportation and summer school. Like the conversations our team have on a daily basis to keep our kids safe. With Chad and staffing, Melissa and your budget. I mean, this Pivot Award is exactly that. What does it mean to pivot? It means to be flexible. It means to move with the times. It means moving with the challenges. And just the mindset of our district is just amazing under crisis. In fact, you know, a smart person once told me, never waste a crisis. And we sure didn't waste this one. So with that, with much honors on behalf of our team, on behalf of our district, we humbly accept this award.
Congratulations. Thank all of you for all of your hard work again and again and again. All right. Okay. So now we have our next presentation. Jung. Another hard at work presentation. So we'd love to hear it.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Board of Trustees, our executive cabinet, our audience here, and our viewers too. So I'm excited to have this opportunity to talk to you about Universal Transitional Kindergarten, and look at that slide. Just melts your heart. So I love the work that we do for our youngest students. So why does early education matter? Well, first is that the research shows that about 90% of a child's brain growth is completed before the age of 5. So if we can support our earliest learners before the age of 5 and provide interventions and provide a strong foundation, then they are more likely to be successful in their career in education and beyond. So we're very excited to talk about Universal Transitional Kindergarten today. I'm going to take a little step back and talk about UPK, because in education, we love our acronyms. Because you probably thought I was going to talk about UTK, which I will, which is Universal Transitional Kindergarten, but the state of California wanted to acknowledge Universal Pre-Kindergarten. So that's what UPK stands for, Universal Pre-Kindergarten. And why did they do that? Because Universal Transitional Kindergarten is only one of many programs that serve 4-year-olds before they enter kindergarten. So before transitional kindergarten, we had state preschool, we had Head Start, and many private providers serving our students the year before they entered kindergarten. So a few years ago, we did add transitional kindergarten, and now we're going to move into universal transitional kindergarten. So what is that difference? Why universal transitional kindergarten? We are going to be, by 2026, we are going to be serving all 4-year-olds the year before they enter kindergarten. So that's the goal. The end goal is by 25-26, we will be serving 4-year-olds in the public school system. So let's look at the Universal TK roadmap. This year, we did a lot of planning. We met with different community members, stakeholders. We met with many different people from different departments to discuss universal transitional kindergarten. So this was our planning year. Next year, we're going to really start. And what it says is that in universal transitional kindergarten, we will be serving students who turn 5 between September 2nd and February 2nd. So let's take a little step back. So if their birthday is February 2nd, how old are they when they enter? 4, right? So because by the end of this, all these cycles, we're going to be serving 4-year-olds. So if you are born if you turn 5 between September 2nd and February 2nd, we will be serving those students in our public school system. Some of you may be wondering, well, that's not new. We're already doing that. And that's true. We're already serving those students in our transitional kindergarten program. But next year, the big difference is that we will be having a student to adult ratio of 12-1. That means 12 students per adult in the classroom. And we know that our youngest students, we need that support in the classroom. The other thing is that there is a cap on the class size, no more than 24 students in the class. Before this, we were up to 31, 33, 28, but now it will be 24. That's the cap. Then in the following year, in 23-24, we're going to be adding more students. We're going to add 2 more months so that if students turn 5 by April 2nd. So if you turn 5 between September 2nd and April 2nd, you would qualify for universal transitional kindergarten. And but our teachers are prepared, because we have actually been accepting students who turn 5 up to March 31st. So our teachers are prepared to work with our younger students. We also have had this year to prepare. We will have next year and the following year to prepare for our younger students. And we hope that we will have the funding from the state to actually decrease the ratio, so it will be 10-1. And right now, it looks like that's going to happen. It looks like it will happen. In 23-24, the ratio will be 10-1. And then in the following year, we're going to accept students who turn 5 by June 2nd. And again, we'll take that step back. So if they don't turn 5 till June 2nd, that means that before then they're 4 years old. And then by 25, 26, you'll see that if you turn 4, if you turn 4 by September 1st, then you will be eligible for transitional kindergarten. Who better to serve our students than our public school teachers? So let's take a deeper dive into how Universal Transitional Kindergarten will look in Fullerton School District. We have decided, and with the input from our families and our different departments, we need to serve our students in a full day capacity. So we will have full day transitional kindergarten at every elementary site and K-8 site. That's new. This is going to be very helpful for our families. They want to be at their home site, and we will be able to provide that next school year. And what are the hours? They're going to align with our kindergarten hours. So whatever those full day kindergarten hours are, that will be our transitional kindergarten hours.
I have a question.
Yes.
Right now, don't we offer a choice of full day and half day in pre-K?
In pre-K, in preschool specifically, or transitional kindergarten?
Transitional kindergarten.
In transitional kindergarten, some of our sites are part day and some of them are full day. So this coming year, they're all going to be full day.
We won't offer half day at all.
Correct. And as we prepare for universal transitional, yes, I'm sorry.
Is this an option for parents? Do their children have to attend, or is it an option to attend?
Just like kindergarten and transitional kindergarten right now, it will be an option for our families. And because we have other providers, private providers, and we also have state preschool, some of them will still continue to qualify for those other programs. And as we prepare for universal transition kindergarten, we also thought about facilities. And so Scott and I have had opportunities to talk about the facilities that we have to make sure that they're appropriate for our transitional kindergarten students. We have also talked about technology with IIS. And so we want to make sure that the technology access will be the same for transitional kindergarten as kindergarten students at their site. And professional learning, this is going to be huge. We have provided, and we have a program that's going to be a 3-year program that will support our universal transitional kindergarten teachers. And I know that this is really important for us in Fullerton School District, and that is that we will continue to support the Reggio Emilia inspired model. And it's going to be, because we are opening it up to every single site, it's not going to be all Reggio everywhere at once. But what we hope to do that over the next few years, we will make sure that all the school sites are Reggio Emilia inspired. And we have already started that work. And I wanted to squeeze this one in here, as long as we were talking about early education, is that we're very excited that we are going to have a full day, full year preschool at 2 of our school sites. And I wanted to emphasize the full years, 239 days. 239 days. Why? Because we want to serve our families. And some of our families need that full day, full year support. It will be from 8 to 4 at Richmond and Valencia Park. And it will be based on need and eligibility. And the ratio would be 1 adult to 8 students. Thank you so much for this time. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Would there be bus service and nutrition services that also flow from this?
Yes, nutrition services will definitely be a part of it. We will be providing breakfast and lunch. Mm-hmm. And since we have the program at each site, we will not have to worry about transportation.
What if families maybe that are outside of their local campus and they want a younger sibling to go with the older sibling, for example?
At this time, we are not doing that for our transitional kindergarten programs currently, and we will not be doing that next year.
Okay. Anyone else? Again, a very thorough report, very thorough, and this is what you have to submit to the state to This is
Yes.
the report. Okay.
Yes, there's a consent
Mhm.
item about
Mhm.
for the universal pre-kindergarten
Right.
implementation program.
Will we be accepting students from out of our district?
As long as we have space, we always welcome any students who want to come.
Thank you. Let me
if
just
you-
say that one more time. For those who are listening, will we be accepting children from out of our own district?
Audience and viewers, we are accepting students outside of our district.
Thank you.
If you build it, they will come, right? Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. I think that's the end of our presentations and recognitions this evening. So we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Pletka?
At this point, I don't have anything else other than, again, to thank the good work that Ed Services has led. We still have thousands of kids that we are serving in our summer programs as we speak. And one final shout out for Barry Ross and all the good work that he's done in the area of health. And we're excited that work has inspired additional work. And so the community grant that was written in Ed Services that will bring $7.8 million to 6 schools. Part of that is for all children at those schools to receive telehealth services to them. And so we're really excited. That's another element that's in terms of adding kind of that value added piece. And in some ways inspired by the good work of Barry Ross, as well as St. Jude's and the good partnership we have.
Okay, thank you. All right. Information from our Board of Trustees. We'll start with Trustee Meyer today.
Okay, thank you. This was a great idea to give us this. You will notice that this is ripped because I started ripping the pages of the stories that I liked. Not that I didn't like all of them. No. And I didn't read all of them, but every so often I'd pick something up and I'd read it to my husband. How long has this program been in place?
I think we're 6 years, 7 years in the making.
Bigger every year.
I know it's a great program. And I remember mentoring a couple of kids who are now graduating from high school. And every time I see them in the community, they go, "Oh, I remember you." And sometimes I remember, but they look different than I do. Yeah. I want to share with my board that I am missing the July 26th meeting, and I do that lightly, and I'm missing the retreat. I don't like to miss things, but I'm going to let you know that I am going up to Idaho to watch my son be sworn in as a Meridian Police Department, and it's with great sadness that he leaves Fullerton, the 22-year service that he had. He said, "Please tell the school board what a great education they gave me." He went to Golden Hill, he went to Parks, and he went to Sunny Hills. And I commend the educational system and the parenting too, for a great kid. He's a great kid. And I look forward to watching him move on. So I will not be here the 26th or at the management retreat and playing golf.
Oh, darn. Okay. Rudy?
No update for me.
Hilda?
A couple things. Most important, Melissa, congratulations. We're so proud of you. I hope Rob can get along without you. Well, I know Damien's going to do a great job, but Rob. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Next, the Fullerton Education Foundation has students from each of our 5 junior high programs volunteer to help us. They do everything that the adult members do except getting wine for the wine auction. And it is a wonderful leadership experience for them because they get to do some project on their own. I would like the audience that's listening, or any of our junior high principals, to submit names of students who may wish to have this experience. The committee will be meeting its first meeting in July. And if there are students out there who'd like to have this leadership experience, we, the adults of the Fullerton Education Foundation, would be thrilled to have them join us. So that's my little PR
Do they have to
piece.
be in 7th or 8th? Does it matter?
7th or 8th grade. We're not prejudiced. And if usually we have more than one student from a school so that they're more comfortable coming, and that makes it better. And if there's an issue with transportation, if they contact me, we may be able to solve their problem. And that would be my email address here at the school district, as everybody else's. Mine starts with my name, Hilda_Sugarman at myfsd.org. And it's on the website also. It's also on the website for Fullerton Education Foundation. Tomorrow, I have the honor to go to DC with Beverly, and we are going to accept awards for 2 of our schools. We will report about it after next month. Erlinda's also going, for schools to watch. And I can hardly wait, because we always think all of the things we receive are amazing honors. I think it will be an amazing honor, but I reserve my opinion until I go and I experience the conference and I see just who's won this award and what it's presented for. And then I will come back and brag to every single person. And last of all, congratulations on that Pivot Award. That is so awesome and so well deserved. This board, I think, as a whole, has been so proud of everything that everyone did during COVID, but our ability to immediately pivot, our teachers' ability to know how to use devices and how to implement, and the bravery of everyone in the district to do whatever their job entailed in order to pivot and make this district work. And I'm so proud of that award. Congratulations.
Thank you. Sometimes we just feel like a broken record with our awards. It's like, oh my gosh. Again, I think we take it for granted because we're used to this, but congratulations for everybody, because it does take everyone coming together to make that happen. And echoing your statement on how fast, for us, it seemed that we were able to, not miss too much as we went forward, where a lot of districts were struggling. We were in a position where, we could get things done a little bit faster. So, and I do think that comes from everyone working together and making that happen to benefit our children. So thank you. Melissa, yes, we're going to miss you. And congratulations for those of us or if those of you that might not know, she's accepted a position of Assistant Superintendent for Business Services for the La Cañada Unified School District. So congratulations, well deserved. We will miss you incredibly, but you're obviously leaving people that will step up and be able to do a good job. We do feel a little bit bad for Rob, but he'll get through it. So, okay, moving on. We'll go ahead, and information from associations that might be just, Darlene, I think you might be the only one here. Oh, Mrs. Nunzi's here. Oh, DLAC, look at you. Mrs. Nunzi, right in front of me. Sorry. How could I miss you right in front of me? I know.
Hello, good afternoon. Nunzi, very proud president of DLAC. And today I would like to come and we are so grateful, the parents, to our school district. I received so many calls of parents that were so concerned, to having their children at school. Of course, we enjoy them, but, the big concern about the financial burden that is, 3 meals a day for our kids for different members of our community. And I received a call of a mom. Her son is, David. Now she called it David Copperfield because he disappeared the food in the refrigerator. And she called me and she said, Mrs. Nunzi, I know he's growing up, but I do groceries and the next day everything is gone, and I'm so grateful. She comes from Guatemala. And she said, I'm so grateful that our kids here, they have food even in the summer. And you see that Sometimes we don't appreciate the great things that so many people do for our families. But in name of so many families, I come to tell you thank you. Thank you for that opportunity, and because our children don't go hungry. And I know it takes a lot of effort and work for many people that is helping our families. And in the name of all the families that they receive this help, thank you so much. And I wish all of you a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that story. Yay! She's not a public person. It's all right. Thank you for sharing that story. I think she has one more thing. She'll wait.
Good evening. I know most of you, so, but for those who don't, good evening, President Berryman, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pletka, Executive Board, teachers, parents, and guests. My name is Darlene Naslund. I'm president of FETA.
Woohoo!
Yes. A little scary, but since
You
I
said
know
it out
most
loud. You
of
said it out loud.
Since I know most of you, it shouldn't be as scary. I have worked at the Fullerton School District for 32 years. So I do have big, bold print instead of the little tiny phone. I'm looking forward to speaking on behalf of our 599 members this year. I'm also looking forward to working with all of you using the PAL process to continue to make FSD one of the most admired school districts in Orange County and beyond. And that's based on all the awards I've heard about tonight and at other meetings that I've been at. I will be reaching out to meet with you throughout the year. However, I would also like for you to feel free to reach out to us at FETA at any time. Communication is the key to a great workplace, and I value that, so thank you. At this time, I'm hoping that all our members are relaxing and recharging and not worried about the next school year as of yet. However, I know that some teachers are working at summer school and others are already planning and prepping for the 22-23 school year because that's what we do. And I may be having a combo class with TKK, so I'm already prepping in my head.
Oh my goodness.
I also hope that all of you have some time to recharge and relax and make memories with your families and friends and enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you very much. That wasn't that bad, right? Yeah. Thank you.
President Berryman, I have a statement from CSEA.
Okay.
It's from Marlene Acosta, the CSEA secretary. Good evening, Dr. Pletka, President Berryman, members of the board and cabinet. I am sorry that I'm unable to join you tonight to share my remarks in person. I will be attending a delegate meeting to discuss the upcoming CSEA annual conference. This year, our conference will be held in person in Las Vegas after a 2-year absence. I will be representing our chapter as a delegate along with Sherry Williamson and Yvonne Carlos. The protocols for conference are strict, including a COVID pre-test, a COVID test on day of arrival, and then daily COVID testing along with mandatory mask use. All delegates are also had to be fully vaccinated to attend in person. Virtual delegate seats are also available with priority given to those who test positive for COVID while at conference, followed by seats for those who are not fully vaccinated, depending on availability. Delegates were also encouraged to book single occupancy rooms in the event of a possible need to quarantine. With approximately 2,000 people expected in attendance, this will be no small feat. We look forward to networking with our fellow classified employees across the state and continuing to learn and grow as classified employees. An in-person conference is a sign that things are returning to normal, whatever normal is. After finishing the first school year in the pandemic with most students in person, we will have many things to discuss. The successes of this year reflect on the hard work and dedication of FSC classified, certificated, and management along with the board and cabinet. Many will resume taking summer vacations and perhaps seeing long-distance family members this summer. I hope you have a wonderful summer and that you return back in August, well-rested and ready to jump into another amazing school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then we don't have FESMA here, right? Or do we?
Oh, we do have a FSMA report.
Where have you been? behind. So sorry. Sorry. I didn't see her back there.
I am here. So, good evening, President Berryman and members of our board and Superintendent Pleka, as well as our cabinet members. I'm Robin Gilligan, and I am finishing out my presidency as the FESMA president for Fullerton School District. And as you know, this year we are finishing out strong, but we are also finishing with some change coming and moving forward. So I first want to acknowledge Melissa, who will be shifting into her new role. She has been here and part of the Fullerton School District finance team and my confidant with special education. So she has big shoes to fill, but I know that she will be missed, and I will certainly miss her. But congratulations, Melissa, and I know you're over there. We also have a couple of our principals who will be moving on. So I know we have Mrs. Wolf, as well as another principal who maybe the information will start to come out as we're going forward. But we're going to have some change with our principals, as well as also my position has some change as I am leaving, and then someone new will be coming in. But I just want to remind everyone that with change also comes what I like to refer to as a fresh wind. It's like wind in your sails, and it gives you a nice push. And so you will see some great things with the people that are coming into the new changes and the new role, providing the district with a great wind and push to move forward and continue the good work that has already been established and in place. Our management team is definitely a strong one, and we want to keep going and building a strong team as we move forward. So you may see some new faces, but someone I think that you'll be very proud of and be part of our team as we move forward. In addition to that, we are going strong with our summer programs. I want to say thank you to Phil and Jason and Sung and his team for helping to build our Summer Learning Academy programs. I'm also doing one at Fern that's mirroring for our special education. In addition to that, we also have our extended school year for students who are served on an IEP. So our SLA programs will be ending in a week on next Wednesday. And then the students who are being served on an IEP will continue with extended school year through July 8th. And that would conclude a lot of our summer programs. We have our Gate Academy that was going through. So a big thank you to Trish and Erlinda and her team, as well as our speech and debate program, which you've been hearing some information about. So lots of things going on this summer and programs that we're excited to bring to our kids, and being back at the school site and walking into classrooms. Of course, it brings joy to my heart to see our kids enjoying the programs that were carefully crafted and created to help our students either maintain where they were when they left us at the end of the year, or to continue to give them a fresh wind and push their sails a little further. So I'm going to miss everybody, but I want to thank you all for the love and care that you've given over the years. And I hope that you all have a great summer too.
Robin, if you could stay just for a second, I just wanted to say and acknowledge. So Robin was promoted into a new position. It's called SELPA director. SELPA director, think of that as basically a special ed director, but not for just one district, but 5 districts.
6 with the county.
With the county, 40,000. She'll be serving 40,000 students in this area, but specifically our special ed. It is we feel lucky and blessed that she gets to continue leading us in this area. And just to say, for those of you who have worked with Robin, she has been somebody under crisis, and we've had at least 1 or 2 over the last few years. That really has been there. And if you've ever seen her in crisis, it's one of her superpowers. She is like everywhere in all places providing that service. She is great under pressure. But I also want to acknowledge that not only is she great in crisis, she helped us really expand the services that we do in the area of mental health and the new organization and the new systems. And she was the one that really worked in this area, of course, with Helene as well. But I want to acknowledge the good work Robin has done in this area and just thank her for years of service. So thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a great way of explaining what I'm doing next. I was trying to explain that to my mother. So I'm going to steal that and share it with her because she still did not understand it. So thank you.
Well, and what a wonderful advocate for our children to have you there. And just your ability to work well with all of the team for the benefit of our kids. Bringing in parents, bringing in everyone that directly relates to the children, I think has been very important, because when you have children that have special needs, that need additional things, it's hard for families. It's hard for people to come to grips with that. Sometimes it's hard to come on common ground with that. But you've been able to help us get to the point where we can work alongside our families for the best interest of our children. So thank you very much for being able to do that. And I'm confident that your department will continue with that and making that happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Am I forgetting anybody else? Okay. No public comments. Is that correct? Or Mrs. Nuncy, feel free to take the podium.
Well, hello, good afternoon again.
Hi.
If Nancy, very happy to be and letting you know that this next Tuesday, June 28th at 4 p.m., after 9 years of, asking the city and many meetings that I recall, so many parents, we're going to have the reopening our Pacific Drive Park. You see, believe me, it took us 9 years. Meetings, going to the commission, parents, very grateful to, at that time, the principal Yolanda Castillo, we stayed late at the NPR with the meetings with the city. And then, Dr. Kelly Castillo, thank you for the district to give us a space for all the parents to advocate, going to commissions and meetings and delays, and then COVID. But finally, you see, there were many children like my daughter that was attending Pacific Drive Park. They didn't have the opportunity to, enjoy a safe and clean park. But the future kids, they are in the school, and all of us, we're going to go visit. We're going to, this is a big victory for our community, and be, persevere, and we can. And we have to be there and hanging there. And 9 years is a long time, but it's, worth it for our children to have the happiness. And I invite all of you, we're going to be the hostess, or the parents of Pacific Drive and the members of the Center for Healthy Neighborhood, which we advocate to. We're going to be the hostess for the events. We're going to have food and music, and it's going to be a big celebration to invite all of you to join us for next Tuesday at 4 p.m. at Pacific Drive Park. And let me tell you, very pleased to, I was talking with the city, with Jeffrey Chinchilla, which is the new engineer for the city of Fullerton. We're going to have the improvement in front of Nicholas Junior High. Parents, we advocate for safety, and we're going to have, new measures. Thank you to Ms. Lori Bruno that she went, to the Commission of Transportation and Engineering to advocate for these changes and for so many major changes in safety and crossing for our students. And now we're going to have that too. In this summer, I went to take the pictures and talk with everybody, to, to making sure that this is happening for our families and our students. And and we have we're going to have a very busy summer waiting for the beginning of our new school year. Thank you for all the efforts for the summer camps for our families. I wish the best, to Robin, Melissa in the new position. And always congratulate, the ed service, under the leadership of Julianne, Nadia, and we have Erlinda, and all the team that always help us with DLAC, because they always make us feel, in family, they support us, and that is, is priceless. Everybody deserves here an award in this district. That is, wherever I go and I tell my daughter go to Fullerton School District, everybody say, oh, that is one of the great ones. You see how proud all of you to be part of this big and beautiful family. Thank you so much for the effort. That it doesn't come easy, and it comes, with leadership from our board, the cabinet, and all of us, and parents too that engage, because all of us were part of that village to make great kids for a great future. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful summer.
Mrs. Nuncy, did you say June 29th at 4 o'clock?
No, 28th is going to be on next Tuesday. At 4 p.m. We're going to have, it's going to be a big celebration, and you're going to see all the parents, that for 9 years, and we're going to have statement from the children that at that time they were in the commission. We had the pictures, when they were like in kindergarten and now they're in junior high. But they're gonna use the swings. I bet you they're gonna.
Thank you.
And we're gonna have machines. Thank you to Barry Ross. They help us so much to have the machines, and all the layout for the park is amazing. And this is commitment for families that yes we can. You see, just we have to put our mind into it, and not even the pandemic can stop us or do whatever we have to
That's
do.
right. Just delayed you a little bit.
Yes.
We got
Thank you
it.
so much. I love you all. Okay, wish you the best in this. Enjoy your summer vacation.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, give her another hand. All right. Moving on to approving our minutes from the June 14th meeting. Is there a
I
motion?
move to approve the minutes of the June 14th meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the meeting minutes from June 14th. Any discussion or questions about those minutes? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of our agenda as it sits.
I move to approve our agenda as it is written.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Need a motion to accept the consent agenda with a change.
I move to approve the consent agenda with an addendum to item 9B.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I'll second.
been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda with or the consent agenda with the addendum. Any discussion?
Yes,
I wonder what that is.
I would like to comment on the wonderful donation that's back at the beginning. Whoa, Sunset Lane Elementary. Look at all the wonderful donations they've given their school, close to $60,000. And we thank those. It's not just their PTA, it's their foundation also. They're making a difference for the students at Sunset Lane. And this was a wonderful list again this month of donations. So thank you to everyone who's so conscientious to help our schools. And the second thing is, could you pull up the Coatson letters and awards? And I just want to point out to everybody who doesn't know, Coatson is an organization that creates leaders within our schools to help teachers to learn the art of teaching at an even higher level. And they select mentors from each site. This coming year, we will have 4 new sites in this program. And then they select staff leaders, and they pay for everything related to the mentors. They pay their salary, their health care. They supply the books and the materials that are needed to learn the higher level of the art of teaching. So a very special thank you to Coatson and to the people who applied to be mentors at each site. If you go to our website, you can see who that is. And we are proud of our mentors. We're proud of our schools that have by the way, to get to be a Coatson school, you have to apply. And the application process is not an easy given thing. And so we commend the 4 schools. Let me see if I'm right. Sunset Lane, Acacia, no, not Acacia, excuse me. Hermosa, Sunset, Laguna, and Orangethorpe. Congratulations to those 4 schools. I can hardly wait to hear reports on how you feel about the added benefit of being a Coatson school. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? No? All right. On that gift one, shout out to Acacia's PTA and their foundation too. They had a large amount in there. So, okay. All right. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye. With the addendum.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Now we're moving on to discussion items.
Are you going to?
We'll move
One
on.
thing I'd like to mention as part of the consent, And while we do wish Robin Gilligan the very best as she moves on.
Oh,
I know that was bad. I do want to acknowledge Julie Brandon. Many of you know her. She will be moving into this position, and we are excited to have her as well. And so for those of you who've seen Julie Brandon or see her this summer, please congratulate her. And we also are very excited to have her. She's been in our Fullerton family for over a decade. And so it'll be a great chance to work with her more closely. So thank you, and have a big round of applause for Julie Brandon.
congratulations to Julie. That was our part of our addendum. So thank you. Okay. Discussion item. We are moving on to our adopting our local control accountability plan. So do we have we do not have a discussion this evening, correct? So it's just a matter of
Approval.
motion to approve.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the proposed local control accountability plan for the 2022-2023 school year. Any questions? Anybody have anything for that? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Yay.
Phew, huh? Okay. Discussion item B, adopting the resolution for the approval of the committed fund balance for our general fund. Melissa.
Yes, it's me. So I know Rob had emailed everyone about this, but we had previously committed $7.5 million at the February board meeting. And now with the adjustment to the budget, we need to still stay below the 10% cap that the state has reached, and we're in rules to follow. So we are required to commit an additional 7 million funds, and that's for facilities and other upgrades as needed.
Okay. Right.
Facilities and safety upgrades, excuse me.
Yay. That's wonderful news.
All right.
Couldn't be more excited to hear that. Parents are going to be thrilled about both the safety and the improvement in our facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So, and staff is going to love it also. So thank you for bringing that forward.
So
is there a motion?
You need a motion.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Go ahead. I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution 2122-20 approval for committed fund balance.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Hilda spoke about it. We did get some information on that as well last week. So all those any other discussion? No? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Yippee.
You're still on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number C is resolution 2122-21 regarding the educational protection account.
Yes, so this is a yearly resolution that we take. There is a set aside of the LCFF revenue that we receive. So it is a estimated amount. It will change throughout the year based on the state funding, but we have to have a resolution in order to spend the funds, and we spend them in compliance with teacher salaries. So we get a bulk fund, and then we just move in teacher salaries from the unrestricted to this revenue stream.
Okay.
It's not additional revenue. It's part of the LCFF revenue.
All right. So is there a motion?
I move to approve resolution number 21/22-21.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution regarding the education protection account. Any questions? Comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. See, we're
One
making you
more.
work.
I know.
We're
the last
making you
time,
work.
yeah. So the last
We should have
item
had
here-
you do the whole presentation last week.
That's what he said the day of. And I said, oh, no, not the day of. You can tell me the day before, but not the day of. So the last item is the adoption of our 22-23 budget that Rob presented on last week. There was one change to Fund 49. When we were going through our final review, we noticed that that one is a manual input. It's not in our system. And so we had pulled the wrong column. So we did update it. It doesn't affect anything as far as planning or anything. Those are our CFDs. So the refi that we just did wasn't taken into account. So we were making sure that was all up to date.
Okay.
No other changes were noted. We didn't receive any public comment at the meeting last. So,
Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion?
I'll move to adopt the proposed 2022 budget, all funds.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the 2022-2023 budget, all funds. Any comments? Any other comments? No? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Yay, final one, done.
Oh, thank you.
No, I appreciate. I thank all of you and all of the members here, and Damien and Joanne and Maria. They go above and beyond with budgeting. We look at every single line item and every other department. I work with all of the departments as well. Like Rob mentioned, we start in March, sometimes February. This year was a little bit later because of just other deadlines, but it's a long process, and it's definitely glad that one's done for now. So yes, and it's a good budget, so that's nice.
Oh, that is nice that it's a good budget. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Where are we? That was it, right? Okay. All right. Administrative reports we've done. Board member requests for future items.
This doesn't need to necessarily be an agenda item, but we are, and I'm very in favor of taking over some of the city fields that we used to share. But we are entering a really severe drought. And I think that there could be some conflict there in terms of our water usage, but we may now have a better method of preserving water. Just want to maybe get a communique about what that will look like, what the usage is going to increase to rates, and where we can maybe conserve.
We'll send it forward.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. With that said, I think no other requests, and our next meeting is July sometime, right? 20. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you, guys.
Jan, do you want this?